Welcome back, everyone, to the deep dive. This time, we're going on a bit of a time-traveling adventure.
Ooh, a time-traveling adventure.
Well, not literally, but we're going to be looking at a very specific date, October 22nd, 2024 in Kenya.
Okay.
You've given us a really fascinating collection of Kenyan news articles
I did.
from that day covering politics and economics and crime and social issues.
Wow, whole bunch.
There are even a few advice column entries.
Interesting.
So we're going to try to use all of this to get like a snapshot
Okay.
of what life was like in Kenya on that day.
Sounds fun.
Yeah. So let's just dive right in.
Right.
And I think the best place to start is with probably the biggest political story from that day, which was the impeachment of Deputy President Rigathi Gachagua.
Oh, yeah, that was huge.
It was big news. The National Assembly and the Senate
Both of them.
both voted to remove him from office,
Wow.
citing allegations of corruption and abuse of office.
Right.
And unsurprisingly, Gachagua is fighting back,
Of course.
claiming the whole process was unfair and challenging it in court.
I see.
Taifa Leo even described his rather grand entrance at the Milimani Law Courts.
Oh, really? How was it?
A 6-car motorcade.
6 cars.
A member of parliament by his side, the former Secretary General of the ruling party, a whole team of lawyers.
Wow. He came prepared.
Yeah, so it's definitely a high-stakes battle that's still playing out
Still going on.
in the legal system. And the court now has to decide whether to allow the newly nominated Deputy President Kithure Kindiki to be sworn in.
Oh, so Gachagua could be out for good.
He could lose his position permanently.
Wow.
So yeah, it's some pretty serious political drama.
Yeah, no kidding.
But it's not all about politics.
Right.
Kenya's also facing some economic challenges.
Right, of course.
You see that in several articles,
Sure.
particularly the ones dealing with loans and levies.
Yeah.
So, for example, Kenyans.ho.hiki reported that the government is trying to secure a multi-billion-dollar loan
Multi-billion.
from Japan.
Wow.
And this is just days after announcing plans for another loan from a different lender.
So they're really racking up the debt.
Yeah, and then on top of that, there's that whole controversy surrounding the housing levy.
Oh, right.
Even though the High Court ruled it constitutional, Taifa Leo captured the frustration of a lot of workers who are now facing a 1.5% deduction from their salaries.
Yeah, I can imagine people aren't happy about that.
No, and, the government's arguing that the levy is necessary for development projects.
Sure.
But a lot of Kenyans are saying,
What do they say?
like, hey, we're already being squeezed financially.
Right.
This is just another thing on top of everything else.
It's a tough situation for sure.
Yeah. And to make things even more interesting, Kenyans.co.kiki also reported on a surge in land purchases.
Land purchases.
Yeah, in certain towns.
Huh. Why is that?
I don't know. What do you think? Is it because people are looking for more stable investments
Well, yeah, possibly.
during these uncertain times?
I mean, when the economy feels shaky, people often look for something tangible,
Yeah.
like land.
Yeah. Something solid.
Makes sense to me.
Yeah. It's a fascinating trend for sure.
It is.
I think it reflects like the anxieties that a lot of Kenyans are facing.
Right.
But, it's not just about finances.
Oh, there's more.
Our sources also reveal a bit of a darker side of Kenyan life.
Okay.
Crime and insecurity.
Oh, yeah, of course.
And we're seeing everything from like sophisticated car break-in techniques.
What, like high-tech stuff?
Yeah, Kenyans.co.ke describes these gangs that are using these new non-violent methods
Non-violent?
to break into cars.
Oh, interesting.
It's almost like something out of a spy movie.
Wow.
And then there's this case of officials in Taita Taveta County
What happened?
who allegedly embezzled millions of shillings
Millions.
by pretending to organize a World War I commemoration event.
Wow, that's bold.
It is.
Yeah.
And then on top of that, Taifa Leo exposed another worrying trend.
What's that?
The rise of counterfeit goods in the Rift Valley.
Counterfeit goods?
Yeah, we're talking about everything from fake alcohol to counterfeit seeds.
Oh, wow, that's dangerous.
Yeah, imagine the impact that has on consumers and legitimate businesses.
Yeah.
That's a big problem.
It is a serious problem, and it demands like stronger enforcement and public awareness campaigns.
Right.
Because these counterfeit goods not only cheat people,
Yeah,
but they can pose serious health and safety risks.
absolutely.
And it's a reminder that even amid all the political and economic turmoil,
Right,
there are these everyday struggles that are impacting the lives of Kenyans.
for sure.
But thankfully, our sources don't just focus on the negative. They also offer these glimpses into the more heartwarming and relatable aspects of Kenyan life.
Okay, that's good to hear.
And that's what I think makes this whole deep dive so compelling.
Yeah, I agree.
We get to see the full spectrum of experiences,
The whole picture.
from these high-stakes political battles
Great.
to the personal dilemmas that people face in their everyday lives.
Exactly.
So, for example, Taifa Leo shared this really touching story
Okay, I like this.
about an 8-year-old girl in Baringo who was severely injured
Oh, no.
by a fallen power line
Oh, God.
while trying to rescue a goat.
I know. And just her courage and her compassion
It is inspiring.
are truly inspiring. But the story also raises these serious questions
Like what?
about infrastructure safety
Right.
and the responsibility of companies like KPLC
Yeah.
to ensure the well-being of their customers.
Especially in rural areas
Yeah.
where things like that can be even more dangerous.
It's a stark reminder that progress and development should never come at the cost of people's safety.
I agree with that.
But, even in the face of hardship,
Right.
there's always room for humor and lightness.
Of course.
And that's where those advice column entries from Taifa Leo come in.
Yes, those are always fun.
They offer this fascinating peek into the personal dilemmas that Kenyans are grappling with.
I love those.
From love triangles to family squabbles.
Oh, yeah.
They're a reminder that no matter what's happening on the national stage, life goes on.
Right.
With all its complexities and humor.
Exactly.
There's one entry that really caught my eye.
Oh, tell me about it.
A woman wrote in asking for advice because she's pregnant and doesn't know which of her 2 boyfriends is the father.
Oh, my goodness.
Yeah.
Wow. That's a tricky situation.
It's a classic dilemma, and the advice columnist's response
What did they say?
reflects this blend of traditional values and a very pragmatic approach
Oh,
to modern-day relationship challenges.
interesting.
So it's this fascinating glimpse into how Kenyan society is evolving.
I see.
It really highlights the tension between tradition and a modernity
Yeah.
that exists in Kenya today.
Yeah, I can see that.
But speaking of which, some of our sources also connect Kenya to the wider global context.
Oh, okay. How so?
Yeah, while most of the news is focused on domestic issues,
Right.
we also see how global events are impacting Kenya.
That makes sense.
For example, Kenyans.co.uk reported on the alarming situation
What's the treat?
facing Kenyan peacekeepers in Haiti
Oh, wow.
who are facing increasingly sophisticated attacks from gangs.
Oh, no, that's scary.
It is, and it's a sobering reminder of the risks and sacrifices
Yeah.
that Kenyan soldiers make in their efforts to contribute to global peace and security.
Right.
And then there's the story of Kenyans living in Lebanon
Oh, yeah.
who are facing tremendous uncertainty after a deadly airstrike in the region.
Right. Well, I remember that.
It highlights the interconnectedness of our world
It does.
and how events in one place
Right.
can have ripple effects
Yeah,
far beyond its borders.
absolutely.
It makes you think about how these global events shape the perceptions and experiences of Kenyans back home.
Yeah, that's a good point.
It adds another layer of complexity to the already intricate picture
Trish,
we're building of Kenyan life on this particular day.
that's fascinating.
It is fascinating. Yeah, it really is fascinating how these stories, both local and international, they really show us Kenya's place in the world. They're contributing to peace efforts globally, but at the same time, they're dealing with the effects of conflict in other places.
Yeah, it's a tough balance to strike.
Yeah.
For sure.
It is, and it raises some really important questions about the future,
Like what?
What lies ahead for Kenya?
Yeah, that's the big question, isn't it?
It is, we've seen some signs of progress.
Right.
And potential.
Of course.
But also some really big challenges.
Yeah, for sure.
So what do you think, looking at all of this, what are the biggest opportunities right now?
Right.
And what are the biggest risks for Kenya?
Well, that's the question we should all be asking ourselves, I think.
Right.
And it's not just for politicians and experts to answer.
Right.
Every Kenyan has a part to play,
They do.
in shaping their country's future.
Absolutely. So as we kind of wrap up this deep dive
Okay.
into a single day in Kenya, I want to leave you with this
What
thought.
about you?
If you were to pick up a newspaper 5 years from now,
Okay.
what headline would you want to see about Kenya?
Ooh, that's a good one.
Yeah. What kind of future do you envision for this dynamic and honestly amazing nation?
Right.
Hold on to that image, that hope for what Kenya can become, because even amidst all of the challenges we've seen, there's this incredible spirit of resilience and possibility that really shines through.
It does.
And that's what gives me hope for Kenya's future.
Me too.
It's been incredible exploring all of this with you.
Likewise.
Thanks for diving in with us. It is remarkable how much you can learn about a place
It is.
just from looking at a single day's worth of news.
Yeah, it's like a snapshot.
Yeah, you're right. It's like holding up this mirror to
Wow.
Kenyan society.
And you can see not only where they are now,
Right.
but kind of get a sense of where they're headed to.
Exactly.
We've seen the challenges, of course.
Yeah.
The political stuff. the economic worries, those threats to safety and security.
Right.
But we've also seen some incredible resilience and potential from the people.
And that's what I keep coming back to.
Yeah.
That's what makes me optimistic.
It is inspiring.
You know, think about that 8-year-old girl who risked her life to save a goat or the people buying land.
Right.
Looking for stability in these uncertain times.
Absolutely.
There's just this determination there.
There is.
This drive to overcome obstacles.
You see it everywhere.
And even in the advice column entries.
Oh, yeah. Those were great.
You know, even with all those personal dilemmas, there's still this sense of community and a willingness to help each other out.
To support each other.
Yeah.
I love that.
It's those human connections, those stories that really bring this whole thing to life.
They do.
It reminds us that behind all the headlines and the politics,
big dramas,
there's this incredible tapestry of experiences that make up Kenya.
And as we finish up, looking at this little piece of time,
the snapshot.
Yeah, the snapshot. I'm left with this feeling of possibility.
Me too.
You know, Kenya is changing. It's navigating a complex landscape.
It is a complex landscape.
Of opportunities and challenges.
Yeah, and which path they choose.
Exactly.
Depends on the choices they make today.
It does.
Both individually and as a nation.
And so that question you asked.
Yeah.
About what kind of future we want. That's such an important one.
It is.
It's something we should all think about.
Not just for Kenya.
Right.
But for everywhere.
For the whole world.
So as we close out this deep dive, I hope you've learned something new about Kenya.
I know I have.
About the people and all the forces that are shaping the future.
It's a fascinating place.
It is. Thanks for joining us on the deep dive.